Hey, what's up, ghouls and gals? Today is our, I don't even know what month, October Letterboxd Wrapup. I feel very underwhelmed by October this year. I feel like it didn't give me the Halloween vibes that I'm used to. However, I feel like I've mentioned before, we are horror people all year round, so I guess like it's fine, but whatever. We only watched like barely 30 movies, barely like 25 movies in October. I got sucked into my Bob's Burgers K-hole. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, check out all of the links down below if you'd like to support me any further or see any more of me or do any extracurricular activities that I do besides this channel. You can check it out down below. Also, my Letterboxd and any lists that I make corresponding to any video that I do is always linked down below as well. Let's get right into everything that... My phone's dying. Let's get into everything that we watched in October. And I should preface this by saying October was a really good month for new releases. We watched so many new releases, and I feel like this is the video that a lot of you have been waiting for, to hear my thoughts on certain movies. So let's get started. All right, October 1st, we watched Strange Darling, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the non-linear storytelling, and I feel like that's not a spoiler. I'm gonna do my best to not spoil any of the new releases for you. But anyways, I feel like I really enjoyed the non-linear storytelling, and this was just such a solid, sexy, bloody ride, and Kyle Gallner like just keeps solidifying himself as our horror king. On the 2nd, we watched Will and Harper, and I genuinely do think it is an incredibly important documentary and a really great conversation starter. And if you haven't watched this one and it has been piquing your interest, let me tell you, it is so funny, it is so heartfelt, but I did cry all the way through. Also on the 2nd, we watched the Speak No Evil remake, and while I really had mixed thoughts on the original, like right up until watching this remake, I feel like I had more respect for the original after seeing this. How this film got the Blumhouse treatment so bad, I cannot stress that enough. I feel like the solid, distressing, dark, just bleak film that we got was just overshadowed by the insane James McAvoy performance. It was fine. It was a solid watch, but like, it really was a movie that did get the Blumhouse treatment, if you know what I mean. I feel like you guys get it. So many good new releases this month. On the 3rd, we also watched the Salem's Lot remake, and like I said in my review, for like a Salem's Lot remake, it was fine, but for like a solid vampire film just starring Lewis Pullman, if you just think of it that way, it was a pretty good movie. And I did like the use of the Gordon Lightfoot song that we saw in the trailer. It was used throughout the film, and that was something I really enjoyed, that it was a song that I was so excited to hear, and it played through the film. On the 4th, we watched VHS Beyond. It is the best day of the year when a new VHS is released. I may be a sucker for these films. You guys know I love an anthology, and I'm just a really big fan of the VHS series as it is. This one did have like a solid theme, and you guys also know I love a theme, but we also got a really cool cameo from the Corridor Digital guys. If you guys watch them on YouTube, we do. They do like VFX reacts, and they were in the film like doing a UFO segment, and it was so cool to kind of see that crossover. But honestly, the Kate Siegel segment, Stowaway, solid. The Justin Long and his brother segment, solid. Like, I had such a good time with this film. On the 5th, we did a rewatch of The Thing, which I feel like it's obligatory to just kind of watch it every year. On the 5th also, we watched It's What's Inside, and I don't think this was a movie for me. I didn't enjoy it as much as I feel like I see other people enjoying it. I just kind of felt it annoying, to be annoying. But that's fine, because we don't really yuck anybody's yum here. If you guys like that movie, a lot of people are giving it really great reviews, so that's great. I'm glad that you had a great experience with it, but I just feel like I maybe am just perhaps just past the demographic this might have been meant for. I don't know. On the 6th, we watched a 70s film called Bog, and you know, we can just move right on. Also on the 6th, we watched Wakewood, which is actually a Hammer film. If you guys are familiar with Hammer films, this was one of their pickups, like their later productions. And I was surprised because it really kind of does have that feel. But I've already talked about this movie in my recent double features for Halloween video. So if you want to see what I had to say there, you can check out that video. On the 7th, we watched The Howling, and I'm going to consider this a first-time watch because I feel like I have seen this film in bits and pieces throughout my whole life, but I've never actually sat down to watch it, and I was not disappointed. Dee Wallace carried this movie on her back. The special effects were just absolutely sickening, and I really had a great time with The Howling. Okay, let's talk about the movie you have all been waiting for. On the 8th, we watched The Substance, and it changed my life. I really liked the director's first film, Revenge, so I kind of knew that I would be a little biased, but seeing even like non-horror fans jive with this, it really did put it into perspective how far horror can reach, and we will talk about that with another film coming up. And it's not even like I would consider this like, I don't want to say accessible horror. I feel like it's horror with such a relatable story. It just hits. And the performances are so out of this world and so good and just disgustingly perfect and such a well-told story. So well crafted to the point that I was just audibly gasping through the whole thing, and I feel like that's the reaction I'm looking for. I loved The Substance. This 5 stars, hands down, probably up there with one of my favorite films of the year, if not will be number 1, but I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. On the 10th, we watched Pumpkinhead. We are gearing up for Halloween. In my review, I said, is Pumpkinhead my hear me out? I think we can move on. On the 11th, we watched Daddy's Head, and okay, highly seek this one out on Shudder. However, I feel like this does fit into the child grief, almost Babadookian subgenre. But there is, the creature design in this film was so disgusting to me that it stuck with me, and every time I saw that little face, I just wanted to smash it in because I was terrified. All right, moving on to the 11th and 12th, we watched Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2. It's probably been a good 5 years since I sat down, maybe even 6-7 years, maybe before I even met Alex, since I sat down to watch these films. I feel like in that time, I have gained so much knowledge of Quentin Tarantino as a person, Kung Fu, that kind of all of the martial arts, just like those kind of movies and that kind of genre. I really understand more how this movie was crafted and why it is the way it is. Like, it's so good. These are such good films. We like back to Bob's Burgers. There was even a Bob's Burgers episode that was kind of like almost in the vein of Kill Bill. It is just, it's such a great set of films that if you, I don't even want to like, if you guys haven't seen Kill Bill by now for some reason or another, like, do yourself a favor, sit down, watch the back-to-back one. Like, I've seen it, so like we've watched it 2 days apart or a day apart, but do yourself a favor and watch it back to back. Take the 5 hours almost to watch it all, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. All right, Azrael. This on the 12th we watched this. I don't think this is another film that I don't think is a movie for me, but it's absolutely fine. If you guys liked this movie, amazing. I am so happy you found a movie you liked. I was just shocked to find out this was not like a 1400s period piece, because that's what I thought it was going to be the whole time. I didn't watch a trailer. I kind of went into this blind. However, I did listen to the Colors, my favorite podcast, Colors of the Dark. They had the director on, and I kind of was excited to watch it after hearing what he had to say about it. I just, in seeing it, don't think it was a film for me. But like I said in my review, there is incredible gore. It is so well acted, and like the sound design, because there is minimal to no dialogue, the sound design is really good. All right, also on the 12th, we watched Mind, Body, Spirit finally, and you know what? Like, this is a film that exists. Like I also said in my review here, I feel like it's unfair to just compare it to Hereditary because of like the estranged, creepy grandmother aspect of it all. And I'm only kind of saying that because Hereditary is up there with Beetlejuice being my favorite movie of all time. However, I will say the lead actress carried this movie on her back, and for that, if she wasn't as engaging to watch as she was, I feel like this would have been a total dud. Also, on the 12th, we watched Satan's Little Helper, and I'm kind of mad that we watched it when we did, because we didn't know that Joe Bob was going to be showing it at his Beelzebub bash this year, like the live show for Halloween. And I'm kind of upset that we watched it beforehand, because like we weren't gonna rewatch it 2 weeks later, so that kind of ruined our Joe Bob for us. Like, we ruined it for ourselves. But however, I can see this film being a Halloween staple to kind of watch every couple of years. This, like, the kid in this film was really good, but like I also said, his role, like, he was too good at his role. On the 16th, we watched Alien Romulus, and I really have no notes. I enjoyed it for what it was. You know, I love Fede Alvarez as a director. I think Kaylee Spaney was absolutely fantastic. It was a good installment to the Alien franchise. All right, on the 18th, we saw Terrifier 3 in theaters. Whew. It felt so good to see Art the Clown on the big screen. I had never seen a Terrifier film in theaters, and honestly, we were the only ones in our theater for about 15 minutes into the movie, and then some girl strolled in by herself and pulled out a full McDonald's lunch and ate it in front of us, like in the seats in front of us. And I was like, she's our people. She's not disgusted by this at all. Like, she's our people. I loved Terrifier 3. I felt like the ending definitely does set it up for another film, which I'm not mad about at all. It was like, you guys, as someone who admires practical effects and really would like to get into doing some of that, like, professionally, because my job right now is in cosmetics, but not special effects cosmetics. And it's something that I've always desired doing. And I feel like seeing what Damien Leone crafted through this film made me that much more passionate to learn how it was done. And that, just so much respect. Also, another note I would like to make, like I mentioned in my review, I'm gonna refer to my reviews a lot here. Nobody's talking about the rat scene. Everybody's talking about like the shower scene, the mall scene. That rat scene was sickening. Like, imagine. Okay, no. There's a film called Pledge, which I'll refer to later on because there is a movie that I feel like would be a great double feature with it. There's a scene in that film where they make a rat kind of eat through a guy's stomach. It's 10 times worse in Terrifier 3. Anyways, also on the 18th, we watched Stream, which I didn't realize is being turned into a franchise, I'm pretty sure. So this stars a lot of horror legends, and it was a fun late night watch. However, too long. This movie is like 2 hours long. It is so unnecessary. The runtime feels so padded in this movie. If this was like a really fast-paced 75 to 80 minute film, like it would have been so good, but at this runtime, it wasn't worth it. On the 19th, however, we watched Woman of the Hour, which is the Anna Kendrick dating game killer film, and honestly, it, as a woman, the parking lot scene at the end of this film was so terrifyingly relatable. I feel like so many women have felt the uncomfortable, tense feeling of someone following you late at night. I don't know if you have, but I have. I used to have to work midnights and come home in the early hours of the morning, and I always felt like I was being, like, eyes were on me, and I don't know. When you don't live in a great part of the neighborhood, it kind of feels like the threat is a little more there. I'm digressing, but this film just really captured that feeling. It really captured the horror of being a woman in a situation where you think you're going to be safe, but you are not. All right, on the 21st, we were lucky enough to get a screener for the film The Line, which is being, it's Utopia is distributing it, and they were kind enough to send us a screener. And this film, so I talked about the movie Pledge, and this is a film that I feel like would be a really great double feature because this is more real life horror. It really does feel like real life horror. Pledge feels like you have to kind of suspend your disbelief a little bit for the college life, but this was so well. This is a film that has Alex Wolff, Lewis Pullman, and Angus Cloud, rest in peace. 3 people that I really I loved watching them in this film together. I think it was a really great depiction of feeling the pressure to be in Greek life in college, you know? Like, I went to, I'm gonna call it was a private school, but when I tell you, like, it was not worth being called a private school. I went to a private hairdressing college, which I want to make that known to you. Like, I was so far away from that situation that, like, seeing movies about pledging and hazing and just things like that, it makes me feel so unsettled because I kind of got off easy not going and like doing the sorority it's just not for me. I went to school with 9 girls in my class, you know, like, I don't know. I feel like there's a certain standard that you're held to when you enter those kind of situations, and that's just not for me. And I feel like seeing this movie and movies like this really kind of make me grateful for the path that I chose. Anyways, I digress. Again, let's move into Huluween. Alex and Logan, on a former Critics Pod on our Team Nefarious page, released a whole podcast episode about Huluween. So I'm gonna kind of just breeze through these. Carved, while I did not, in hindsight, was a better movie than I'm giving it credit for. It really did have some cool effects, but you know what? This is a very entry-level horror. But moving into Mr. Crockett, I really enjoyed Mr. Crockett. This felt like so many of the TV shows that my mom would put on for me when I was younger, but like so scary. And the family dynamics in this were so sad. It was such a bleak film, but this is like, that felt like true horror. All right, almost done here. On the 26th, we rewatched my gosh, too many words here. Too many words today. We rewatched Hell House LLC. And I only wanted to rewatch this because I kind of felt like I was too hard on it the first time I saw it. And I was like, I really hated this film. This really sucked. It was boring. I did a whole video on it on my main channel when I first started talking about horror on YouTube. It's been like 5 years since I saw this film, and I still feel the same way. It was so boring. There's a couple scenes that are definitely like scary, but like only because they feel like they could be like it could happen in like a realistic horror haunt situation a la McCamey Manor. But I don't know, other than that, like, this is just a boring film to me, and I don't know if I'll give the rest of the franchise a try. However, we did do a rewatch of Ginger Snaps, and it always holds up. This film is solid. As a woman, once again, very relatable. Sometimes you just want to maul someone's face off. But also, like I did say in my review, I'm really happy that they went practical over CGI, because I feel like a CGI werewolf would have looked so stupid in this film. Anyways, moving on to, on the 28th, we watched Don't Move. Now, I kind of, seeing the trailer for this, was like, I'm not gonna like this. This is gonna suck. And for me, it did. And I've been seeing some pretty decent reviews for this film, but once again, just not a film that's for me, and I can admit it. But a film that really was for me, on the 30th, we finished the month with Frankie Frico. If you guys have been here for a while, you would know that Psycho Goreman is up there with one of my favorite films of all time now. And this is a film done by the director of Psycho Goreman, and it truly does capture that essence that Psycho Goreman had. And I've mentioned that Psycho Goreman would make a really great double feature with Destroy All Neighbors. I feel like these three movies together would be the ultimate holy trinity of just wacky, weird wildness. I saw my light on my hand for a second. I thought I was bleeding. Anyways. Frankie Frico is truly a film where the moral of the story is to just kind of let your freak flag fly, and I love that. It feels like Gremlins, Ghoulies, all the little creature films meets Home Alone, and it was so fun. It was so cute. I love Dottie. I love the movie. Oh my god, it was so good. It'll definitely be on my favorite movies of the year. And I guess we can conclude there, because I did not want to keep you here for half an hour today, and I really hope I didn't do that, because these videos end up being quite long, especially when I watched 60 movies a few months ago. But we're going to get back into that pretty soon, because our second annual Team Nefarious Film Fest is going to be starting in December next month. So we're going to talk about this coming up a little more. I am going to be trying to show all the movies on my Patreon on the free tier, so that you guys can watch it with me. I feel like Patreon is the best place to be able to show films without being like blocked or like restricted or whatever, so that you guys can watch them with me. So we'll talk more about that soon. So we're planning on 4 days of films, so just kind of get ready. But I want to be more involved with you guys doing this year. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you watched in October. Hope you had a wonderful Halloween. It is my birthday month now. November 22nd is my birthday, the day Wicked comes out. I'm so excited. So I will see you guys so soon. Sayonara.